Hello, 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 fellow tourists, and it is that time of year again. While everyone's out enjoying the beach, getting a tan and gobbling down those sweet snow cones, the hot summer sun has drained any and all motivation for me to move beyond my bed. But you know what that means. It's anime binge time, and I've gone through all of Crunchyroll's spring anime for 2024 to quell my boredom. Welcome one and welcome all to JoshTheTourist's seasonal anime retrospective, a series that takes so long to edit that every single one of these shows has become irrelevant as the newest season of anime has already started to wrap up. But for those of you who want to take a trip down memory lane with yours truly, grab an ice pack, put some sunscreen on, and dip your toes in the nearest pool because we've got 8 categories and over 50 anime to get through. Enough dilly-dallying, hit that intro, Sora!
Nothing is better than kicking back on the couch, drinking some iced tea, and about to watch the spring and make the spring anime intro. Why am I always making the spring anime intro, the fall anime intro, the winter anime intro? That's it! No more Mr. Nice Guy. Alright, Mr. Josh the Tourist, you may milk me dry just like how MAPPA does to its employees. But let me tell you, starting today is my revolution, my uprising. I will demand my payment today, Mr. Tourist. So no matter what comes my way, I will demand my payment. Nothing in this spring anime will make me do this for...
How long I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I don't think you guys walk away from this.
You just make sure people know what happened here today.
Best Isekai. Men, the grind is over. This is the peak masculine form. Isekai, you never fail to disappoint. Because even when you're lacking, it's not like we were expecting anything from you in the first place. You've got your classic overpowered MCs, your harem of women. We got a reverse isekai about a princess from another world landing in a modern day detective's lap that may be a little too horny for its own good, and a slight twist on the rising death by overwork route to live your fantasy life. Boy, that's depressing. Anyone else missing Truckun, or is that just me? Parker, quick! We need a groundbreaking isekai everyone will forget, so it looks like we're still active as a studio.
I got it. So, you know how the best part of SAO was when everyone was trapped in the game and how the series fell off after they escaped?
Yeah.
Let's just make a series where we skip the entire arc and go straight to Alicization.
Genius!
Hey mom, can we get that time I got reincarnated as a slime?
Oh sweetie, we have that time I was reincarnated as a slime at home. After being stabbed to death, our main character wakes up as an underwhelming monster in another world. He more or less accidentally evolves into a more powerful version of that monster. Gigachatify a goblin village, can steal the abilities of whatever monster he eats, has an AI that teaches him about the new world he's in, is part slime with a humanoid form, and is working tirelessly to build relations between humans and monsters. I mean, this is basically slime if it was horny. Which would be fine, I guess? If not for the fact that slime is back, baby! Get these wannabe contenders out of here. I know what you guys really want, and that's that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Konosuba and Mashoko Tensei, all 3 powerhouses are back for an incredible season of Isekai.
Now, this is peak culture.
Never thought I'd say this, but from one trash Isekai man to another. Pleasure seeing you here, Sora.
Right back at you. I'm just glad to see all these shows are back after so many years. I've never expected Konosuba to get a 3rd season. It's been 7 years since season 2.
Please don't remind me how old I am.
Whatever, Grandpa. There was never a dull moment whenever the gang was on screen. Every episode left me laughing in tears, and this season made me realize how much I relate to Kazuma since he's a The script is supposed to say, because I'm surrounded by 3 idiots, not a groomer.
Same difference. Anyway, I think we all know who the real winner is today.
Oh, that we can agree on.
Best Isekai. Mushoku Tensei, Season 2, Part 2.
Oh, who's the groomer now?
Hey, I thought you said we agreed with this one.
You forgot one.
Did I? Let's see. Overpowered MCs, harems, Walmart slime, salad, the card grader. I even threw in a kitty Tojo for good measure. I don't think I forgot anything.
It's more than just a harem, Josh. It's the way of life.
What are you? Oh no.
Yeah, it may be your stereotypical run-of-the-mill isekai, and the romance might not be all that developed, and the plot might not be all that interesting. So what? Forget the plot. Have you seen? Just look at that wolf! She's perfect! The ears, the tail, the dance, her voice! She's perfect! The perfect wolf! The perfect girl! The perfect wife!
Sora, I'm sorry, but I have to admit, I'm done with your shit. Always complaining, then hijacking my videos. You didn't even make last season's intro. Now it's Fox Girls this, Fox Girls that. I can't take this anymore. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the Jam Lads Annie-tuber. Take the blinding light of the sun and the cleansing properties of water and smash together those two different forces of nature to create organic mass basement dwellers only see in their nightmares. Natural technique, enveloping green. I think I should feel bad, but I don't. Where were we? Oh yeah, Mushoku Tensei. Okay, so when I was writing the segment for Mushoku Tensei and why I thought it was the best isekai of the season, I may have accidentally wrote another video essay, like free run. So if you want to check that out, cause it's about 20 minutes long and I don't really know how to cut it into this video, you can check the link down below. It came out before this video dropped. Hopefully it's doing well. If you want to see my full thoughts on Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Part 2, and why I thought it was really, really good, including the controversies, you can check out that video right now. Link in the description or the card, pinned comment, description. It's somewhere. You can check out the link somewhere. Best fantasy. I don't have much to say about this section. Now, I'm all down for a good fantasy. It's probably one of my favorite genres out there, but I don't know if it's just me. This season felt a bit weak. The banished former hero continues the trend of the absolute worst shows getting the most banger songs. I swear, the most entertaining thing about this series was watching the Scorn Anime Planet drop every week when a new episode came out. Misfits of Demon King Academy was hit by the nastiest delays almost every other week. I didn't really find anything all that special about Archdemon's Dilemma, and for some reason I just couldn't sit through an entire episode of TP Pawn. According to light novel readers, Unnamed Memory could have cooked hard if the adaptation wasn't so rushed. Everything is there for this to be a great slow burn romance, and the first episode does a pretty decent job at setting up these two characters. But it feels like there's something missing with the adaptation. Oh no, I might check out the manga here. I'm mildly interested. Taking us out of medieval times, Train to the End of the World taps into the 5G hysteria a couple years too late with a 7G incident. A PR stunt for a new network that goes horribly wrong. Please, these people that were burning cell phone towers, they don't need any validation. We did not need this plot. I was kind of expecting more of the tone of A Place Further Than the Universe, and less whatever that was. The show's weird, wacky, and goofy, and it will throw everything it has at you. Definitely one that I'm curious about to hear your thoughts on. We finally found out what was cooking outside of Spy Family, and it was certainly an interesting choice on their part. Recreating some of those classic Disney fairy tales we grew up with, The Grim Variations puts a dark twist on them that resembles the aura of their original source material. They got my girl Cinderella out here giving Amber Heard a run for her money. They turned Little Red Riding Hood into an absolute baddie that can break me any time of the year. And they got Hansel and Gretel running from the Promised Neverland? What? This was a surprisingly good anthology and would have won my favorite fantasy of the season, if not for the Juggernaut in the room. There's a reason why I haven't talked about it yet. Yes, you already know it. One of the most anticipated reboots of any anime I've seen has finally been released. I know that this is the one that Sora was really looking forward to. It's truly a shame what happened to him. Best Fantasy. Spice and Wolf. Merchant meets the Wise Wolf.
Step aside, geezer. This one's mine. Now for the Spice and Wolf remake, let me just say, wow. This is truly a masterpiece. And don't get me wrong, I will always say the original Spice and Wolf anime will forever be dear to my heart. But if I had to measure the two, I would have to say this remake is right there, right next to it. This remake has been beautifully well written in plot, and I never thought that I would be saying that they would even reamp and reconnect the chemistry between Holo and Lawrence compared to the previous one, but yeah, they did it. They really did it, and I am truly grateful for it. I know some people will be finding this difficult to accept, and some people will say I prefer the original one because some things aren't accurate compared to the light novel. And when you're adapting this anime series, yes, it's different compared to the light novel, and coming from someone who read all the light novels, I can totally see what changes they made for this anime. And let me just say, I'm okay with it, because this anime was made for the newer audience. Whether you have a degree in economics or you're not into economics, you have to admit this anime captures economics beautifully. It shows the life of our merchants during the medieval times, showing the true values of what is valuable back then and what wasn't. Because during a time frame during the medieval times, you would have to find what is value during that time frame. And every single day, the market is changing. And you see that a lot throughout the episodes. You can adapt and change along with these new changes. Otherwise, you could be held back in the past and lose out on opportunities, making you lose money as a merchant back then. And it truly does captivate the saying that you can look back on history and learn from it. Learn from those failures or learn from those events and help you adapt to change. And this is why I always said, and many other people who are Spice and Wolf fans or seen even the original or even read the light novels like I do, will say Spice and Wolf is the embodiment of economics. And normally when you're learning from this, you're usually in a history class and you're either captivated by it or you don't listen to it at all. And I feel like the reason why a lot of people are learning so much from this anime is because the relationship between the characters intertwined with the economics, teachings, and the stocks that they have in the story. I really can't believe that they managed to pull that off. In the old one, I always said the reason why I loved it so much was because the chemistry between Holo and Lawrence, and they were able to recreate that chemistry in the remake. And that was so breathtaking, not just because they brought back the original voice actors for both the sub and dub, it's because the original writer from the old one reamped the story for the remake, and it was just as beautiful as the old one. And I'm very thankful because this truly has been a well-thought journey and a well-thought writing that the newer people who are just watching this anime and just getting into this series is loving it, because it was so well written that the story wasn't too advanced for them, too complicated for them. And it may be a basic story, but the slow character development and romance progressed throughout this story. It's what's so captivating for us as the audience watching this, and I'm really thankful, not just to the writers, but to you guys. I'm thankful for you guys because the more you guys enjoy and watch this, the more a chance of this having another season and maybe completing this series. Seeing Kenny and Josh enjoy this anime really does bring a smile to my face, and I'm so happy for them that they are enjoying this anime as much as I do. Now with that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching this and enjoying my point of view of this anime. And please watch this series to the end. It will have you see a changed perspective of economics and how important it is. Now with that being said, Josh, I hand this to you.
Best romance. Huh. The Omegaverse. What's that? So, I didn't like the romance this season either. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh. I didn't catch up on time to finish season 3 before I started writing this video. Where I was hoping for a wholesome show when it came to Studio Apartment Angel, I got horny instead.
Oh my god, bro.
Huh. Hell no. Why did the music stop? Whoa, wait. No, wait. I didn't mean that way. I didn't mean that. I got a horny show instead. In a parallel universe where Hachiman was born a decade early so he can legally get with his teacher, watch as Yui and Yuki Noshida find comfort in each other without their mans. I was actually really looking forward to Whispering Me a Love Song. I heard great things about the manga and was about to read it when I heard it was getting an adaptation. And now a year later, I'm whelmed. The entire time I was watching it, I was kind of wishing I was rewatching Bloom Into You instead. No, this sounds like it's up my alley. Alright, I don't watch anime trailers, so I'm just going off the synopsis, okay? Like I said, I'm giving it a must-watch, for me personally. If I drop it, I drop it, but I think I'm gonna enjoy it.
That one didn't age quite so well.
This had the building blocks to be a great seasonal romance, but this guy has too many red flags to count. I'm all for character development, and starting your character at 0 or the lowest point or whatever can lead to some compelling writing, but damn, sometimes you gotta figure that shit out on your own, alright? I had to draw the line when this guy threatened her male friend for just existing in the realm of their New Year's date. What was kind of sweet at first turned into a possessive, stalkerish guy who may or may not be taking advantage of a pushover. Yeah, no thank you. I've seen enough true crime to see where this is going, and I do not want to be around when he snaps.
Hey Mom, can we have Orin High School Host Club at home?
Oh sweetie, we have Orin High School Host Club at home. You know what? It's trashy, but in a fun way. Overall, in my humble, not so humble opinion, I don't want to give the romance award to any of these, so we're outsourcing for this award. We're going to go into Best Fantasy and Best Isekai for some romance candidates.
Ooh, in that case, I nominate Archdemon's Dilemma.
Wait, what was the show about again?
You know, Josh, when you think about all the applications, was slavery really that bad? Okay, fine. Then what about chilling in another world with my big, booby, fox girl wife?
I miss when you were dead. I've been trying to avoid sweeps and double nominations, but honestly, there's no other way around it. There's only one true winner of Best Romance this season. Best Romance. Spice and Wolf. Merchant meets the Wise Wolf.
If this was a couple seasons ago, Mashoko Tensei would have gotten the dub!
But Spice and Wolf is everything you'd ever want in a fantasy and a romance. And it's these two that absolutely make this series. In terms of romantic development, that's not exactly the main focus here. It's much more of a drama heavily focusing on the economics of the world and the skills that one needs to stick their head above the water as a merchant, as well as a cart full of luck. And while Lawrence is a good merchant, he can also get ahead of himself a lot of the times. In a time where you couldn't pull up the stock market on your phone or just Google the worth of any currency in the world, we watch as Lawrence does his best to make a living in this world based on his intuition. And let me say again, Lawrence is a good merchant. He has the connections and he certainly has the experience, but that doesn't stop him from getting scammed, tricked, running into odds with the church, or just getting caught up in the greed of the moment. and this leads him into a lot of trouble. That's where Holo comes in. And while the mischievous wolf might be more trouble than she seems to be worth, I mean, just look at the food bill. Apples ain't cheap, missy. Her curious, meddlesome nature and fast learning are a perfect complement to Lawrence's laid-back attitude and experience. And while things aren't always perfect between the two, due to the stress of their job or the situation they find themselves in, what makes their dynamic stand out over other couples is that they actually talk things out. We don't go on for several episodes with this horrible misunderstanding hanging over the two of them. If they have a problem with each other or get into an argument, they both leave to cool their heads, and once they calm down, they come back to one another to talk, to try and understand what went wrong, and what they can do to prevent it from happening again, or to help dig themselves out of the hole that they managed to fall into. So, you know, they act like adults. And to add some spice to this drama, you can tell these two genuinely care for each other. While romantic feelings may be up in the air for now, the building blocks are definitely there, and when the series starts to pivot into their relationship more, they're going to become one of the most wholesome couples out there. Best slice of life. Bands. We got a lot of bands this season. It seems like bands are the theme of the season. Slice of Life may not have participated in last season's retrospective, but oh boy did it come back with a vengeance for spring. Kyoto Annie returns with the third and final season of Hibeki Euphonium, leading to my tearful goodbye to this beautiful series. We got 2 shows focusing on a group of girls trying to find their place in the world, with each group working through their angst and struggles the only way they know how, by making a band. Laid Back Campus back for a third go-around, and I'm sad to say that I wasn't actually able to catch up to this one. The vibes look so homely and relaxing. This is definitely going to be my next binge after I catch up on the summer seasonals. Oh, that's the good stuff. There's not much here to talk about. Just a man with a bar who serves you a drink that'll go perfectly with the problems in your life, proving that alcoholism truly is the alternative to therapy. But that's not to say that every slice of life this season was a home run. After very publicly executing and abandoning the corpse of Yuri on Ice, Mappa decided to dip their toes in the sports genre again with Oblivion Battery. Okay, maybe I'm not one to talk, baseball's never been my type of sport, but I was willing to give this show a shot. 30 shows later, however, and I completely forgot that this was still in my stalled list. I honestly don't think I'm missing out on much though. The mini-sides of Voice Actor Radio was fairly underwhelming, though I did enjoy the chemistry between the two main girls. We got another sports anime about golf that went fairly under the radar, some pervy grandparents, a show based off a mobile game, and don't even get me started on Astronaut. But out of all these, there's been one show that I've absolutely been obsessing over this entire season. Best slice of life. Girls Band Cry. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Adding onto the pile of evidence to Never Let Me Cook Again, we have the surprise of the season for me, Girls Band Cry, sharing many similarities with another show airing this season at the same time, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. Here we have 2 near identical shows, one with the traditional 2D animation, and the other with the more... Oh, I saw that it was tagged with CGI, but I was kind of hoping it would be like... let's say experimental type of animation. But while these two may share some surface level traits, it's when we get into the actual meat of a show like this where we get to see where the true differences lie. The characters. Then, even then, there's a lot of similarities. But when you get past all of that, the true difference between these two shows is that
Girls Band Cry has the fucking sauce!
Every single frame of this shit is just oozing with passion and charisma. The most basic shots are enhanced by a radiating aura that elevates the scene. The characters' faces are so over the top and expressive, you can't help but love them. The show takes absolute advantage of its medium to deliver absolutely stunning performances. Girls Band Cry absolutely stole my heart. This shit goes so hard, it's just fucking raw. Easy dub for Girls Band Cry. Best action. We got a season full of veterans this time around, and they are cooking! D Midslayer returns with a season barely worth watching outside of the final episode. The war arc has kicked out the academia and My Hero. The gayest heterosexual show returns with more flexing than ever with this newest season of Baki. The regular Magical Incest School somehow managed to bag Lisa. And Data Life returns for... maybe its last season? I don't know, I haven't caught up. But not everything was a viral hit this season. See what it did? Okay. Word of mouth about the manhwa made me think I'd enjoy this series. I mean, a show about a loser going around and beating up wannabe Jake Pauls? Sign me up, this is the best premise ever! But one thing I could not have prepared for was the absolute cringe fest this was. I had to watch episodes at 2 times the speed and squint my eyes in agony just to bear through this. And the animation is not that great. It's been 10 years since the last Black Butler season was released. I don't know if anybody's still watching this, but you know what? Good for you. That is an absolutely insane amount of time to wait. Seeing this get a 4th season after so long only adds fuel to my copium. Okay, Isekai season 3 one day. But speaking of waiting, No Game No Life has finally returned for a wait, never mind. That's just God's game we play. Don't ask me to go over anything. Okay, we got a lot of these, so let's speedrun this.
Hey mom, can we get Spy Family?
Oh sweetie, we have Spy Family at home.
Hey mom, can we get Baki?
Oh sweetie, we have Baki at home.
Hey mom, can we get Tokyo Revengers?
Oh sweetie, we have Tokyo Revengers at home.
Hey mom, can we get Attack on Titan?
Oh sweetie, we have Attack on Titan at home.
Hey mom, can we get Evangelion?
Oh sweetie, we have Evangelion at home.
Hey mom, can we get the Power Rangers?
Oh sweetie, we have the Power Rangers. Hey, wait, no, actually I fought with this one. I don't know who came up with the idea of mashing the boys and Power Rangers into a single show, but give this man a medal cause this works out perfectly.
Surprise, motherfucker!
He what? No wonder why I love this show so much. My mans has had me eating out of the palm of his hand for years! With such an enthralling story and interesting characters, is this enough to give Haruba another dub in my heart? Best Action. Guardian, the way of the lone
Something
wolf.
about this guy's spirit is bringing out my inner wolf.
Oh, Kaiju, I'm so sorry. The decision was a pretty split one on my end. If we're talking about the plot, Kaiju number 8 steals this with no competition. But unlike the previous categories, I try to look for shows that have a mix of good storytelling and jaw-dropping choreography when it comes to best action. And when it comes down to straight hands, Windbreakers and The Way of the Lone Wolf have some of the best hands of the year. Cloverworks does not mess around. The opening episode of Windbreakers is still playing on loop in my head, but when it comes to the Lone Wolf, we got a man in the prime of his life on the run from the world after he rightfully killed a man using his extremely dangerous martial arts techniques. As he evades capture, he finds himself getting wrapped up in an underground tornado! If he wins, he can have his freedom back, but losing may very well cost him his life. Maybe it's just me, but following a show centered around adult characters feels so refreshing. And while the plot isn't anything to write home about, it does exactly what it needs to do to get to some brutal fights. This is certainly not one to sleep on for action fans, and I had a good time with it. With only 8 episodes, it didn't overstay its welcome, and it knew when to leave off for season 2. And that final episode has me so excited to see more. It's rare when a series can have such a big fight and keep you on the edge of your seat. The winner could have been anyone. You forget who the main character is for a second and just watch in awe as 2 giant, sweaty men go at each other raw. Here's hoping Netflix doesn't add this to its exponentially growing list of cancelled shows. Best Ending Song. While there might not have been a lot of endings that caught my eye this season, this is a pretty decent list if I do say so myself. Of course, we have the obvious heavy hitter here, with Japan somehow managing to snag One Republic of all people to do an anime ending song. Which, I still can't believe they managed to do that. But that's not to discount the other 6 songs here. The visuals may be generic, but Mina Akabe delivers such chill vibes to a condition called Love's Ending Song to the point where I'm pretty sure I prefer it over the opening. With Spice and Wolf making its grand return, they had to have a killer ending in order to compete with the last, and I think Claris did a great job here. Not only is this song super catchy, but the chibi-esque visuals are just way too cute to pass up on. My hero decides to take a much slower, more emotional direction for its ending this season. Sabomi takes a moment to bring a light to the villains, as we see the villains are stuck in their past, unable to move on or accept their trauma. Then we got the Power Rangers hitting their nastiest squad emote. Blue Archive is a lesson in aesthetics. Here, this song's okay. I mean, personally, I don't really have much stock in it, but visually, this ending is shot so beautifully. On the flip side of this, the banished former hero just proves to show how much a banger song can carry you. To me, the best ending of the season is a no-brainer. In the past, there have been times where I have to think about my feelings toward multiple songs and rank them. But here, while there were some pretty great ending sequences, there was only one real choice. Best Ending Song. Saika wa Iranai by Nawa Akari. Go, go, Loser Ranger. Take what I said about Blue Archive's aesthetic visuals, My Hero Academia's lyrics, and Ami's absolute banger from the banished former hero. Throw them into a blender, let them mix real good, and you've got yourself a contender for best ending of the year. At first, the tone might seem off, especially after the way some episodes end. But man, it's just so thematic, especially when you throw in the lyrics. Take for instance the shot where Fighter D is absolutely dwarfed by the giant screens displaying the Rangers, each perfectly synced up doing the same choreographed dance for the masses, only for it to instantly cut to the fighters perfectly mimicking the dance, morphing back and forth between themselves and the Rangers. A perfect copy. Because that's what this all is. A performance. When anyone can take the stage, practice the moves, get the choreography down, will the original even be missed? Especially when that performance is a lie anyway. With the Rangers boasting the ideals of heroism while being the most heinous Machiavellians behind closed doors. How far does Fighter D take his own performance to get back at them? How far does he let the spiteful monster within take him? How many regrets does he pile up on the way? What's his true meaning of justice? And through his perfect performance, will he become the very thing he swore to destroy? Also, the animation for the dance sequence is just too clean. Like, come on, just look at those morphing shots. Just utter perfection. Best opening song.
Oh my goodness, look at him. He's lifting so much. He must be listening to some heavy metal for that.
Speaking of bangers, oh man, you have no idea how many opening songs I ended up cutting out of this poll. There were some absolute fire songs that instantly got added to my phone's playlist. But man, were their visuals basic as hell. But when I narrow it down to these nominations, I'm looking for three things. A banger song, thematic lyrics, and fitting visuals. The winner doesn't have to always have these three. We learned that from last season's winner. But those are all taken very heavily into consideration before I throw the rules out of the window. And that's how we ended up with the 12 nominations you see before your very eyes. It's so good to have the gang back together, and growing up shows that our four idiots have done the exact opposite of that and continue to go on their journeys full of shenanigans. Preview of Me is just filled with straight aura. My Hero Academia, Windbreaker, and Kaiju are all just straight hype, prepping you for some of the best action you'll see this season. Hannah Hope delivers such a beautiful, soft-spoken song for Spice and Wolf that I know Sora ended up sobbing to. And Laid Back Camp just has this comfy vibe to it that just makes me want to go out and camp with my friends. And I can't not talk about Bye My Darling. I may not have vibed with Urusei Yatsuda, but they just keep releasing bangers. There's a lot of openings to choose from here, but I'm confident in my number one. Best Opening Song. Preview of Me by Tatsuya Kitani. Go, go, Loser Ranger. While it may not sound like it, this opening is absolutely tragic, commentating on the loop the fighters are stuck in. Day in and day out, they work under the heel of the Rangers, forced to play the loser to their victories, the villains to their heroics. And yes, technically the fighters did invade the Earth first, but simply put, this endless loop of slavery is, inhumane, robbing the fighters of any and all dignity. And that's not even getting into the perfect visuals. While these lyrics are blasting, we see the travesty of Fighter D, forced to be a puppet for man's entertainment. And even though he breaks through his strings, no matter how much he fights, those hands are always reaching out to him, almost getting him back in their grasp, dragging him into the stage to play the villain for the Rangers' benefit. It's a lose-lose for a soul fighter. So begging the question, can a faceless, nameless goon make any amount of difference while visually throwing the entire world at him in a single song? This is the perfect opening to get anyone invested into this show. Anime of the Season. Honestly, I thought it would be harder to choose from this absolutely stacked list. A ton of veterans that I've been invested in for years have all made their return, and I can't say a single one of them has missed. We also had some heavy-hitting newcomers that became instant classics to me. Really, the only disappointments on this list were Demon Slayer and Jellyfish. I may have ended up dropping Windbreakers, but hey, I can't truly say that I was disappointed in it. It just wasn't for me, but that show knew how to fight, and it fought well. And Date Alive? I only put because Sora's a fan. But after cutting out all the fluff and my personal disappointments, this is still an extremely stacked list, and all these nominees are deserving to take the crown home. So enough stalling. It's time to see who I chose to represent all of anime for spring 2024. Best Anime of Spring 2024. Girls Band Cry. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. This might have been my biggest surprise of the season. When I watched all those trailers with Sora, this one stood out to me. In the worst way possible.
Oh, I saw that it was tagged with CGI, but I was kind of hoping it would be like...
But I decided to give it a chance. I saw this, and I saw Jellyfish, and I started watching Girls Band Cry first, because I wanted to get it over with. Little did I know I would end up catching up in just 2 days. Girls Band Cry is a beautiful drama of these cast of girls just trying to find themselves. Everyone is extremely flawed. We have liars, we have wannabes, we have nobodies, but still, they all manage to make it work after fighting each other for over half the season. Over completely new things. Nearly every other episode. But the music's still banging. And it's the drama that makes the show so human. There's just something so incredibly real with how these girls fight. And it's not just this silly little controversy that gets them to fight for the episode and at the end they're all happy. Sometimes, this can go on for a couple episodes. And while it does kinda seem silly, you can tell how important these arguments are to each of the girls, and it just makes them more real. It's also the fact that this show is about failure. No matter how many times you fail, and no matter how stacked the odds are against you, you pick yourself up and you still perform. I really, really hope we get a season 2 of this, because while season 1 ends in a way where it could be over, there is still so much room on this journey, and I cannot wait to see more. Now, if you excuse me, I have a Spotify playlist that I really need to get through, and it's probably going to take me the rest of the day. Okay, I guess I should probably do the outro first. So, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I didn't actually write a script for Anime of the Season. I kind of fumbled the production of this video. That's why it's coming out so late. I was able to write and record almost everything up to Best Anime before I went on vacation. But then I got really sick. And then college started. So I had to go off memory. I hope it didn't show too much, but I seriously loved Girls Band Cry, and it's definitely the sleeper hit of the season. Which is saying a lot since this was a super stacked season for anime. With so many long-awaited sequels, I didn't think a newcomer like this would be able to top my charts. But here we are. If after watching this video you still don't know where to start, here are 5 really good ones that I recommend. At number 5 is my beloved Mushoku Tensei. If I had a wild card, I would probably have this there, especially if you're recommending it to someone. But simply put, this show is just too good to pass up on. But you also have to have a very particular taste in order to stomach Rudeus as a character. I would recommend watching my Mushoku Tensei video, but there are some spoilers, so just be prepared to hit the skip button when it tells you to. At number 4 is Windbreaker. While I didn't personally enjoy it because of the whole delinquent stuff, this is an easy recommendation to make for any new anime watcher, and the action is just superb. Cloverworks just keeps proving that they know what they're doing. Number 3, obviously, Spice and Wolf. You're welcome, Sora. This one is a little more different from everything else I've talked about. It's a fantasy, but it's also kind of a drama. It's a really well-written, slow-paced love story between these two characters, and you just get to see the journey that they're going on. Sora's been telling me to watch this for years. The anime got rebooted. He told me to wait so I can watch it with him now. And to be honest, it's been a great time with him. And Sora, we need to watch the rest. We got to episode 12. Where did you go? While Girls Band Cry may have made my number 1 of the entire season, it makes my number 2 in terms of recommendations. Like I said before, very well put together drama, super well written, some of the best songs and performances I have seen in anime. That includes K-On!, that includes Boki the Rock. Even if you're iffy about CG animation, this show really just takes it in its stride. It knows the weaknesses of the medium and then uses it to its strengths. And honestly, I can't see this show in any other way outside of the CG animation medium. And the obvious number 1 for any new anime watcher, or even for you, the one that you cannot skip out on from spring, is Kaiju number 8. Seriously, that's how good it is. Do not miss out on Kaiju number 8 if you haven't seen it yet. And then for some honorable mentions in case you're like, I've already seen all those, give me something new. Bartender for something calm and relaxing, Way of the Lone Wolf for some gritty, awesome fights, Go-Go Loser Ranger for a fun time, and of course our legacy shows like Konosuba, My Hero, Sound Euphonium, Laid Back Camp, and The Duke of Death and His Maid. Of course I can't go on this long without mentioning our Patreons, Sliv, Kamer, and Matthew Garcia. Thank you guys so much for donating to the channel, and if you guys want to show your support, check the link down in the description below to our Patreon. For just $1 you get early access to all of our videos, as well as a shout out at the end of all these scripted videos. You also get access to the full-length tourist cut of this video, which is over an hour long. If you've been watching the Anime Awards recently, you might have noticed that I have had a Your Awards segment. Well, from now on, I'm going to make that into a separate video, but if you want to watch it right now, go on over to the tourist cut of this video down in the Patreon below, and you can see it within that cut. The YouTube version of it should be coming out within a few days, maybe a week after this video comes out, but once again, early access, as well as full length for this video, and all of our Anime Award videos are over in the Patreon. Now, if you excuse me, I told you I have a playlist to listen to, and I realize I can't, because I have to start writing the Summer Awards. Yay.